The ITA Kickoff Draft for Division I women's tennis occurred yesterday, and I'm going to go over the host sites first, and as well as like the teams who've decided to go there. And this is based on last year's last year's rankings, by the way. So, then they will change once the season starts. So, the 1 seed was North Carolina. The 2 seed, North Carolina was the defending champs, by the way. To 2 seed Georgia, 3 seed Texas A&M, 4 seed NC State, the runner-up. And by the way, on North Carolina, they were national indoor champs as well. So, 5 seed Stanford, 6 seed Michigan, 7 seed Texas, 8 seed Iowa State, Pepperdine as a 9 seed, Columbus as a 10. Ohio State as a 10 seed, Duke as an 11 seed, Virginia as a 12, 13 is Oklahoma, 14 is Tennessee, 15 is Florida. So that's just an FYI on that. Like, I'm going to denote otherwise if it's like indoor or outdoor. If I don't say anything on if it's an indoor thing, like for the host sites, just assume that. But if I say outdoor, you know what I'm saying. Like for those teams, the 1 seed North Carolina has like number 40 Charlotte, number 48 Kentucky, number 60 Oregon. So North Carolina versus Oregon, Charlotte versus Kentucky. The 2 seed was Georgia, and is Georgia, and they got South Carolina as a number 33, South Carolina number 50, Arizona number 64, USF, and this is going to be outdoors, by the way. So Georgia versus USF, South Carolina versus Arizona. The 3 seed Texas A&M is going to be played outside because they don't have an indoor facility. They don't. They have number 46 TCU that won the NIT, but that was with 7 other random teams. So take for what it's worth on the NIT stuff. Number 57 Evan Rice and number 63 Northwestern. I think Texas A&M got a little bit fortunate that they got a little bit easier of a region. They're going to play number 63 Northwestern. I think Northwestern's going to be improved next year, and they have to take on probably like TCU or Rice, and that's a pick'em match potentially. The 4 seed NC State has number 43 Iowa, number 45 Clemson, who has a new head coach from Iowa State, which I'll get to in a second, and number 62 Alabama. So NC State versus Alabama, Iowa versus Clemson. The 5 seed Stanford is going to be played outside on this. Number 52 Maryland, number 58 UNLV, number 61 Colorado. So Stanford versus Colorado, Maryland versus UNLV. Okay, Michigan's going to be played indoors. They do have an outdoor facility, but they're not going to play outdoors. They have number 42 Arkansas, who barely got into the tournament, number 49 Purdue, and number 51 Utah. So Michigan versus Utah, then Arkansas versus Purdue. Number 7 seed Texas has the following, and they got number 24 Florida State, number 35 SMU, and number 36 Baylor. So Texas versus Baylor, then Florida State versus SMU, and it will be played outside. And the dates for this was like January 26th through 29th. We'll have to wait and see what the schedule really says. That's just giving a variety of dates. And they could play indoors potentially, but they just don't have cameras. Now the number 8 seed Iowa State, who has a roster turnover and a new head coach. They're going to get a new head coach. They have not hired one yet. But they're building 6 indoor courts, and they have an indoor facility now. And hopefully it's going to get ready eventually. And then 6 outdoor courts. They're trying to build for that as well. So, but I will say they have lost 5 players overall. 3 seniors and 2 players to the transfer portal. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how their roster is going to even look. Their region is tough. First of all, they got number 18 UCLA, number 19 Oklahoma State, number 29 Old Dominion. So Iowa State versus Old Dominion, and then UCLA versus Oklahoma State. And really, the winner of that UCLA-Oklahoma State match could very well beat Iowa State. First of all, both these teams lost to Iowa State last year. Yeah. That's just funny, including UCLA twice. So that's just a interesting note. Now the number 9 seed Pepperdine will be played outdoors, and Iowa State, by the way, will be played indoors. So they got number 41 at LSU, number 44 at Loyola Marymount, and then number 55 San Diego State. So Pepperdine versus San Diego State, then LSU versus MU. Now, 10 seed Ohio State has the following: number 23 Kansas, number 26 Arizona State, and then number 28 Notre Dame. So Ohio State versus Notre Dame, then Kansas versus Arizona State. Now, 11 seed Duke will have like number 17 Auburn. That's dangerous. That is dangerous. Number 53 Denver, and number 56 Princeton. Princeton was the best Ivy League team out there. So Duke versus Princeton, Auburn versus Denver. So the 12th seed Virginia has number 20 Georgia Tech, number 22 Wisconsin, and number 38 Texas Tech. So Virginia versus Texas Tech, then Georgia Tech versus Wisconsin, and number 13 Oklahoma has like number 32 California, number 34 Illinois, number 39 UCF. That's very interesting because UCF is in the Big 12 this year. So next year, so it's Oklahoma versus UCF, Cal versus Illinois. So now the 14th seed Tennessee has the 16th seed Miami, Florida. Then number 25 USC, number 30 Vanderbilt. That's not easy. Tennessee is very familiar with Vanderbilt, as we all know. Tennessee versus Vanderbilt, and Miami, Florida versus USC. What's funny is Miami, Florida, and USC played each other 2 years ago in that Baylor regional host site. So that's just a funny deal about that. Now, the last one is number 15 Florida. That's going to be played outside. So not many outdoor sites here. They got number 27 Wake Forest, number 31 San Diego, and number 37 Florida International University. So Florida versus Florida International University. And then number 27 Wake Forest versus San Diego. So really it's just Florida, Pepperdine, Texas, Stanford, Texas A&M, and Georgia for the outdoor sites here. But we'll have to wait and see on the weather. And I know for sure that Texas does have indoor courts. Same thing goes for Georgia, but not Texas A&M. They could technically go down to Baylor and just you have to pay a fee to go there. Pepperdine does not have indoor courts. They don't. And I don't think Florida, they might go somewhere else to go to indoor courts, but I'm just saying that because of the weather issues, and Stanford, of course, doesn't. So, anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe, and see you guys later. 5 subscribers, we're on the road to it. Let's go.